Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. How are you? How was your flight? How's everything today? You got a lot of love already.
I love you too, Levar.
I love you, John. I also love you. Will Wheaton, I love you.
I love you.
I know that.
I love you too, Will.
I love you, Johnathan.
There's a lot of love going on over here.
I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening underneath the golden moon.
Welcome to FanX. How are y'all feeling today? You feeling good?
Feeling good. The Phoenix?
I think he said FanX.
Oh, Fan.
Yeah, not Phoenix, FanX.
Look at this crowd. Look at the size of this crowd. Be ashamed not to do. Volare.
Now you know what it was like to be on the bridge at 9 o'clock at night on Friday in 1989.
Who would do the next part? The late, great Vinrick Colby.
Rick Colby.
Yep.
Now, please tell me more about 1989. What was going on back then?
What you just witnessed.
A little show called Star Trek The Next Generation was
Little
blown
show,
up and
science fiction
established
show.
the return of the franchise.
It's great, and I'm so glad. So, you guys have always been a part of this franchise. What are you guys working on now? Let's talk about now, right now, for a hot minute. Is there anything that you want to plug or promoting now?
I have a really awesome thing that I've been working on for 2 years that I can't tell you the specifics of, but it releases next month. And all I can ask you to do is just follow me on one of the social things, not the fascist formerly Twitter network, the other ones. And you'll find out as soon as I'm allowed to talk about it. I'm so freaking excited.
That's awesome.
Nice tease.
It is.
That's my thing. I wish I could say
Directing,
more.
writing.
I cannot say.
You can't even say. You
my
playing
God.
pickleball? What are you doing, bro?
Tease.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but I'm really, really, really excited.
I know you'll be surprised that I'm going to go do a Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I did a great episode on that show last year, but I did an even better one this year. I hope to go to Starfleet Academy, and with any luck, Venus Prime by Arthur C. Clarke will become a...
What?
Wow.
Really?
We'll see.
All right.
That's super cool.
So,
He's a great writer. He
Yeah.
only gave us...
Maybe someday he'll really catch on, I think.
I saw that movie the first time.
Yeah.
I was, it turned me on to the whole idea of what the future could be and what movie making was. I was in college, I think, and I went to see it, and it changed my whole world. Anyway.
Storytelling can do that.
Yeah.
The first time I saw 2001, it was playing at the Cinerama Dome in the middle of the afternoon. I was
Perfect
across the
place to
street.
see it.
I was across the street doing looping for Next Generation. And I saw back then they would just put like a sandwich board out front of like what their classic movie was for that afternoon. I saw that it was 2001. I'd never seen it. I always wanted to see it. I was 16 and driving.
Did it blow your mind?
It blew my mind.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. I've been a weirdly obsessed student.
And Kubrick was, he was a mythical
Yep.
director, but that movie, for me, and I think for a lot of people, was kind of a pivotal time to entertain the idea of science fiction as a really important craft in the filmmaking.
Yeah, because Dr. Strangelove was a comedy.
Was a big time comedy.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody really expected that kind of vision, but it was Arthur C. Clarke, so.
Yeah, the writing was something.
Writing was absolutely.
I remember this, and it's so interesting to be attached to something with his name on it. It's very kind of thrilling. Let's talk about.
Why we're really here?
Let's talk about what you cobbled together this year.
You have something super cool happening.
I do. In fact, one week from last night, October 3rd at 9 o'clock on the CW will be the premiere of my new game show, Trivial Pursuit.
Trivial Pursuit!
Levar, I do want to plug something for you because I did happen to buy your shirt. He has great shirts that says read banned books. I love that shirt, and make sure you go out and get that shirt. I got 2 of them.
Wait a minute, he's not done. Trivial Pursuit is one of the few things.
Let's keep going.
One of the many things he's cobbled together. Go ahead.
No. I'm a stand pat on Trivial Pursuit.
Are you serious?
I'm gonna stand pat.
Your humility.
I fold.
Yeah, me too. I know he's got more.
Ship it.
I know he's got more in there.
Can
He doesn't have to show his hand.
No, he absolutely doesn't. We all know.
We got plenty of time. We can plug as much as you want.
There's an hour.
All right.
We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there.
We'll see where the conversation goes.
So I gotta ask, because I know y'all been asked a million questions about the franchise, but I do want to get to know y'all personally. What are your guilty pleasures in your downtime? How do you take care of yourselves? What is your favorite karaoke songs? All of that. Yeah.
I swim and I fish.
I like
I
that.
play Scrabble every night with my wife.
Do you cheat in Scrabble?
No, I don't.
All right.
Oh yeah, no. We play Open Dictionary.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Makes it life much easier for a 39-year marriage.
That part.
I love to read. I play trombone badly. I listen to a lot of jazz. I watch a lot of television.
Baseball.
I love my baseball.
Who's your team?
I got a fantasy league, but I started as a Philadelphia Philly fan because I was raised in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Connie Mack Stadium. Then I moved to New York and became a Yankee fan. I was there during the great Reggie Jackson era. And then I moved to LA during the Fernando Valenzuela days. And then I moved to Maine, and I was not allowed into New England unless I became a Boston Red Sox fan. So I have a complicated baseball fan.
Yeah, you do.
Inside you, there are many wolves.
How does that movie strike you? Wolves.
No, I'm good.
Pass.
No? Really?
Yeah, I think so. What's it about?
I don't know. It's Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah, they're not very handsome or good looking or talented or rich.
I think they really enjoy playing together too.
I think so. You get that feeling?
Kind of like us.
Kind of like us.
You guys are
Only,
Three Musketeers.
only richer.
Yeah, they're much richer.
I'm going to push back on the concept of guilty pleasures. I don't think we should have guilty pleasures. I think we should love and feel good about the things that we like.
I like that.
Will we?
I like that.
Will we?
That's so Will Wheaton.
When the things that we're doing, they don't hurt anybody, they don't bother anyone. Like, I think it's great to love the things that you love, and you should love them real hard. That's what being a nerd is about, right? It's not about the things we love. It's about the ways that we love them.
I like that. I like that. Thank you.
How's your D&D game?
My D&D game is great. I currently have the pleasure of introducing some friends to it. They've never played before. So I'm teaching them, I'm not only teaching them D&D, I'm teaching them role-playing and just in general. And this last Friday, we all got together and we played, there's an indie RPG called Mothership. That's real fun. There's like one person in the room will know it because it's that small, but it's really fun. It's a game where your characters are definitely going to die, so you don't get to. It's great for me because I roll like crap, and that is one of my extreme pleasures. I've recently found, I've rediscovered my love for building Lego sets.
I knew that.
And I'm spending a lot of time doing that. I actually listen
And
to Levar.
money.
I listen to
And
Levar.
money.
Yeah.
You're spending time and money.
Oh, so much money on Legos. Except it's money I spent a long time ago. I just bought them when I was like, I'm gonna get to these eventually. And it's only in the last few months that my brain's been quiet enough that I can sit down them. And I listen to Levar's podcast while I build them. So Levar reads me books and tells me stories while I'm building Legos. It's a great time.
Well done.
Levar, what about you? What are your fun pleasures? Not guilty ones.
I like to nap. Love a good nap.
You and Mr. Spiner.
Yeah.
Brent Spiner once. You know who Brent Spiner is?
Yes.
True story. Made arrangements with Mary Howard, our producer, to pay the rate of an hour for each crew member. Gaffers, grips, makeup, hair, costume.
Everybody.
Everybody,
Everyone.
Teamsters, everybody, 1 hour, he'd pay out of his pocket for a company nap if everybody would take it. 2 people decided they would take advantage of the hour off and leave the lot, so the whole thing went.
South.
It was such a good idea. I still can't believe
was
that
a great
that it
idea.
happened. This is why we need unions, everybody.
It was such a great gift, because Brett's a great napper
He's a giver.
and a giver.
He's an Aquarian.
There's one thing that the one regret I have in my life is that when I was younger, I didn't take more naps. If I knew then what I know now, I never would have said no to a nap.
I know what y'all doing after the
But
panel.
you didn't need naps as much when you were young.
No, you didn't.
No, but I mean, when I was really young, like a baby, when I fought the naps,
Yes.
right? Like really, like kids, take the nap. Someday you're gonna be 50 and like, oh, I really need a nap.
Real quick, I do want to. We have a line of people that want to. I want to open the floor for questions. I want to make sure we hit all these questions today. My young friend right here. What do we have right here?
My name's Cammie.
What's up? I
Hi.
can't.
Oh, there you are. We can see you.
I can't.
Hi. Tell me one nice thing about the cast members that's here, and one nice thing about a member of the cast that is not here. So, yeah.
One nice thing about the cast members that are here,
Yes. Right.
my son and my ally, two of my favorite people in the world. And one nice thing about a cast member who's not here, fascinating. How about Mr. Spiner
Yeah,
and The Giver?
yeah.
I did it.
Well done.
I will tell you that the entire cast became a family for me, and I really didn't have one. I don't want to bring it all down, but I lived in a house with 4 strangers. I was not part of a family. I was very much with a family when I was on the set of Star Trek, and I love that. I love that all of these that these guys and our castmates who aren't here just made me feel welcome and made me feel safe and made me feel at home. It was really, really important to me, and it's something I'll treasure forever.
Well done. And what I can say about Will Wheaton is that he is one of the kindest, most compassionate human beings I know. And I can say about Johnathan Frakes that he is, well, he's one of the kindest, most compassionate human beings I know.
I had
We're
really
in
good
very
role
good
models.
company.
Thank you for your question.
And I'll say about Michael Dorn that due to his time on both Star Trek The Next Generation and then Deep Space Nine, the man is richer than God.
And still single.
And still single. Ladies.
Handsome man, too.
Yeah, he's a very good-looking human being.
And he flies. And he owns an airplane.
He owns his own airplane. Look at us pimping out my
Is he on Tinder?
Yo, I want to shout out your Riker shirts.
shirt.
They're amazing.
That's strong right there.
You know these two?
Don't, but I love them. I love them.
We'll wear them for the photo op too, don't worry. Hi, I'm Desi, and I'm Morgan, and from a librarian to fellow book enthusiast, I just want to say happy Banned Books Week.
Happy Banned Books Week. Read the banned books. Read the ones they don't want you to read. That's where the good stuff is, y'all.
Amen. Our question is, you guys have such light and positivity every time we see you, and we've heard it from everyone. So what is something you guys do? Do you have to intentionally cultivate that positivity, or does it just come naturally? Any advice for maintaining that light and that joy?
When I wake up in the morning, I give thanks for all the things that I'm grateful for, or some of the things I'm grateful for. Always includes Jeannie and the kids, and frankly, my good fortune at being part of this Star Trek family. Another thing I do is when I work, I always meditate at lunch. And it does 2 things. It either helps me see my third eye and really centers me. It does 3 things. Or it turns into a nap, which is a blessing. And perhaps most importantly, all the shows that I work on know that they can't sneak in a meeting at lunch, which is really significant.
Great move.
Isn't that a good move?
That's a really good move.
My 3 secrets. And swimming.
And swimming.
You got a thing.
I do have a thing. There's a natural mineral hot springs in Los Angeles, where the water comes from the ground at a very wonderful temperature, and I've been going there for many years, over 25 years. I've had the pleasure of.
We've been going there for 30. Didn't we start?
Yeah,
Started the
yeah.
show.
Is it that long?
Yeah.
Really?
I know. It was
I gotta stop
37
saying
This
it.
moment's gonna happen a lot.
Wasn't it? It was 37 years
It
ago?
was 37 years.
Holy shit. You look good.
Yeah.
You look better than ever. I think you do look better than ever.
Do you really?
Yeah, I realized. I was telling somebody at the table, the guy said, y'all look really good in Picard. I said, well, thank you very much. But LeVar really did. They said,
LeVar's
yeah, he
pulling the
really
curve up
does.
for us. Yeah.
Yes, he's holding it up.
Yeah.
It's the Beverly Hotspurs.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I do two things. I believe that there is a fundamental difference between nice and kind. Nice comes from here, kind originates here. And when you nurture kindness, that you can't help but put it out, and I believe that we attract to ourselves what we're putting into the world, right? So every night before I go to bed, I am grateful for things, and I do it. I call them doing my gratitudes, and I go down through all the things that I'm grateful for, because I live in this world, I'm out in this world, I'm as scared to death as everybody is. I see the darkness in this world, and I know that I have an opportunity and a real privilege to try to bring a little bit of light to pieces of it. So I do that. I make the choice to be kind at every opportunity, and I really am grateful for just so much. I think that all of us have to use an inner voice with ourselves that is kind and supportive and gentle. We should never talk to ourselves in a way we would not allow another person to. And when we I just choose to do those things. I still have bad days, and it's work, but it's a choice, and it's one that I make every day with gratitude and hope that it all works out.
Will Wheaton.
Thank you for asking.
Thanks for your question.
Hi, my name is JC. My question is for Levar. Last time you were here, you talked about possibly doing a show called After the Rainbow. I was wondering if that's still a thing or if that just ended.
It ended. You see, here's the thing. I discovered that it no longer made sense to me to continue to represent a brand that I would never own. And so now I still do the same thing I've always done, only with IP that's mine.
Hi, I wanted to know, how do you prefer potatoes?
That is an extraordinary question. From my garden,
Potatoes in that garden?
I do.
Fingerlings?
Yeah,
I love fingerlings.
they're great. And I cut them up into slices, and then I lightly fry them and have them with breakfast. I also love your Oscar the Grouch costume. It's amazing.
I like my fingerlings cut into sort of bite-sized chunks and then tossed with olive oil and salt, kosher salt, and then laid out on a cookie sheet and put in the oven and roasted till it's crispy.
Steph, my wife, has a recipe very similar to that.
That's a monster.
Myself, I just like them in my belly.
Well, this is also the longest I've ever talked about potatoes in my life.
Well, now that we're on the subject, I was in the hotel room today, flipping through the Salt Lake City, Come to Salt Lake City magazine. And on the last page, there's a recipe and story about funeral potatoes.
You gotta have them before you leave. I was just about to ask you that.
All right, somebody has to explain this to
All
me.
right, we're gonna make funeral potatoes.
Funeral potatoes, like, all right, listen, what you do is you take some cornflakes, you get some like little russet things, you can smash them up, sprinkle on it like Salt Bae, and then you got funeral potatoes, my G. All right, that's, yeah. It's good.
Those many people often delivered to people's homes after a funeral.
Yeah, you can play some basketball after you're done. It's gonna be a good time, I promise you. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Funeral potatoes are lit you up.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was gonna ask y'all anyway. That's a Salt Lake question, so I wanted to
Yo,
get that
Salt Lake, why are you not exporting this to the rest of the world?
I think you just did.
Potatoes grow in other places.
They don't grow them like here, son. They don't grow them like here.
All right.
Excellent question, Oscar the Grouch. My friend over here.
Hi, I have a question for Will Wheaton. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your experience playing Earl Harlan on Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh my God. I'm such a fan of everyone involved in Welcome to Night Vale. I love the podcast and the world and the embrace of the weirdness, and I love how wonderfully queer it is. It's just so fantastic. Joseph just emailed me and said, would you be interested? And I was like, dude, anything. I don't care what it is. So I got to, at a live show, play the intern who gets killed in the library. I didn't know that it was my audition to play Earl. So I got to come back and play Earl for a couple of episodes, and I got to play him once in a live show. And it was just really fun and really wonderful. I never thought I would get to be part of something like that. And they were great. We're talking about a podcast called Welcome to Night Vale, which is a wonderful supernatural podcast with brilliant, brilliant writing. They did another one called Alice is Not Dead, and they're lovely people. Cecil Baldwin is a great host, and it was just a real privilege and something I'm really happy that I got to be part of. Thanks for asking. Oh, and I should remind you all to devein your nutmeg before you add it to your Thanksgiving dinner. Earl would want you to know that.
I think this panel just made everybody hungry. We're talking about potatoes, nutmeg. All right, you got any food questions? Come on.
No, I'm just hungry now. But my question is for Will.
Ironically, it says breakfast elevates
A lot of hobbits is going on here.
tea, dinner, and supper.
It's all the hobbit meals.
Appropriately dressed.
We have a theme.
Yep. My question's for Will. What was it like playing a villain of yourself on The Big Bang Theory?
It was so much fun. The thing about the villain is that the villain is the hero of their own story, so you have to justify why they're such a jerk, right? Like from that guy's point of view, like what his whole thing is. And it was just really fun to Jim Parsons is such a great actor, and I have to give Jim credit for why people love my performance in that. My performance in Big Bang Theory is all about Jim's reaction. Jim is selling what a villain I am. And he's just so good at it that I don't really have to do anything except just read the lines and be, and kind of enjoy how much like evil Will Wheaton is basically making him dance, right? When they rewrote the character and switched him out to be a little more of a friend and then eventually a mentor, all of that started all over again, of getting to experience a different relationship with those guys. I loved being the villain, but being the ally was really, really satisfying. And we got to do Big Bang Theory together.
We did.
And Brent Spiner was on Big Bang Theory once.
Don't rub it in.
I would say that being on the Big Bang Theory was terrific, wouldn't you?
You know what? I loved being on the Big Bang Theory. I was actually on 2 episodes.
Yeah, you were.
I begged to be on the Big Bang Theory. I begged. I pitched to you to pitch.
It was a great pitch.
Here's the pitch. I don't want a line. I don't need a line. I want to be able to have said I did it. My job was, I was the guy who sprayed the disinfectant into the bowling shoes.
It's such a great
Silent
idea.
bit.
Silent bit, good with props,
Yes.
Yep.
Clear about your motivation.
Clear, yeah. Face acting only,
Yep.
Yeah.
but no.
Missed opportunity.
Oh,
Yeah.
obviously, because my friends were all on the show.
You're in the show on Earth too. You're just not in the show on this Earth.
I know, but I had FOMO. I have serious FOMO about that specific show.
Next time I'm on. Oh shit. Sorry, buddy.
Timing's everything. Thank you, question.
Hello, my name is Brandy. This question is for Will.
I'm feeling really awkward about all these
Don't!
for me.
Let it in,
But
Will.
it's 4 or 5 more. Give me start.
Let it in.
All right,
Let
that's
it
right.
in.
You let me know.
Yeah.
Lean into it.
We will.
Would you please?
No, this is great for you all now. Guess what I get to hear about for the rest of the day?
Would you please talk about how you came to be in Star Trek Prodigy Season 2 and what that process was like, because you were freaking amazing.
Oh, thank
He's a huge Prodigy fan.
you. I was so envious of you when you all got to go be together on our bridge. I was so envious. I was so happy for you guys. And I was so envious that I didn't get to experience that moment of us there again, because I got to go there by myself. And by myself, it was a lot. And I could only imagine what it was like with everybody there together.
I went there with you.
That's right. You gave me permission to sit in the captain's chair. It was a really big deal for me.
But we were going to do Ready Room from there.
Yeah, we were. And while I was there, I thought, just love this, man, because this is the closest you ever get to being Wesley again. And just, embrace it and appreciate it in a way I wasn't able to when I was a teenager. And then a friend of mine was writing for Prodigy, and she said, I think we're going to put Wesley in as the Traveler. And I was like, oh, okay. And she said, I just wanted to talk to you. What are your ideas? Where is he? What do you know? Well, as it turns out, I've written a lot of fan fiction about Wesley. I sincerely have. I have. I'd spent a lot of time, and I said, well, I've decided that Travelers are sort of Star Trek's versions of the Time Lords. And she was like, yeah, we're into that. And they actually brought me in on the writing. That's like, I'm a writer, that's what I do. So they brought me in and let me contribute to the character. When it finally aired, it was 2.5 years after we recorded it. And when it was finally done, for the very first time ever in my entire career of everything I've ever done, I watched work that I did, and I didn't feel self-conscious about it. I saw more than like just things I wish I did differently or mistakes I made. I saw this character that I love so much, who I know means so much to so many people. And I saw his story finally told in the way I always wanted it told. And I just felt like to go from a tiny cameo in Picard and being on the bridge and like going, God, I wish I could feel this again, to doing it in a voice acting environment was just such a gift. I talked about doing my gratitudes. I'm grateful for that every single night. And I really hope so hard that somehow there's more Star Trek Prodigy. I don't know how any of that works, but if someone says yes, I just know that the Hagemans have such incredible stories to tell. And I hope that I would have the privilege of being part of them again.
Hello, young friend. How you doing?
Good. This question is for Levar Burton.
What is your name? That's my question.
Amelia,
Amelia, what is your question?
what is your favorite book?
That's tough.
Amelia. When I'm asked this question, I tend to respond like this. My favorite book, Amelia, tends to be whatever book I'm reading at any given time. And right now I'm reading Isabel Wilkerson's The Warmth of Other Suns. It's a little advanced for you, but I look forward to you reading it someday. The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson.
There's a game.
What a great question, Amelia. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Is that your mom right there? You're raising a good one. Yeah. Congratulations.
So I just want to say, I think, Will, you've been getting a lot of love lately, so I want to shout out Levar for sitting in a sauna next to Lawrence Fishburne in the TV show Clipped. That was awesome, because I'm a huge Clippers fan, so that was a fun moment.
God bless. Naked in the sauna with Lawrence Fishburne, not a bad,
Yeah.
not bad ditty. I've actually been naked in a sauna with you too, Johnathan Frakes.
And fish.
And fish, yeah, absolutely.
But my actual question is, what is each of your favorite moments from anything Star Trek related? Could you just share like any moment you just want to just talk about or just shout out that you just love?
I'll share one. When Denise Crosby, Natasha Yard, decided to leave the show, she went to Gene and said, I'd like to either have more to do or write me out. So they wrote her a beautiful episode. Unfortunately, it was the episode I think I got shoved into the
goo.
The goo.
Yeah.
But in that episode, there was a It was a funeral of sorts on a big grassy knoll. And we were sad that Denise was leaving, and the characters were sad that Tasha Yar was leaving. And Patrick Stewart, of all people, took it upon himself, what are they called? The doors on a spaceship?
Doors?
They're called doors. The holodeck doors, the triple lift doors, the automatic doors.
Doors open,
Yeah.
and there was what was meant to be the size of this room in a big green field. And Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart, not quite then, but he minced out onto the lawn and sang, "The hills are alive." True story.
We were all there.
Broke the mood.
Broke the mood, helped.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
I don't know why that came to mind, but
There's a moment on Strange New Worlds, the crossover episode with Lower Decks, which Johnathan directed. And Boimler is in Pike's quarters, and he goes up to the horse, and he goes, "Riker!" as he sits on it. And it is a hilarious moment, and it's such a Boimler moment.
and it's ad-libbed.
And I know that it's ad-libbed because I asked Jack Quaid about it when he was on Ready Room. And I saw his face light up because he was terrified of doing it in front of you.
Under the camera watching it, and I almost ruined the take because I laughed so hard. It was genius.
It's brilliant. It's one of my favorite moments in recent memory.
Worf smashing Geordi's mandolin and saying, "I am not a merry man."
Excellent choice.
Hey, my friend, hold tight for a second. My friend, hold tight. You brought up the show Clipped. My man, yeah. You brought up the show Clipped in the sauna scene with Lawrence Fishburne. I do want to circle back to that because that was an important moment. You talked about, in that particular scene, you talked about why you still have to change from Roots. And
But that was in Doc Rivers' condo.
Yes.
We were out of the sauna
Right.
for that conversation.
I do want to reference that scene just very quickly. I grew up in a black household, and my father had me. I literally watched you my entire life. You taught me about my past with Roots. You taught me about my present with Reading Rainbow, and you showed me that brothers be in the future with Star Trek. So I want to thank you, seriously, sir, for that. I love that particular scene. So thank you for bringing that up. But I just personally want to thank you for that. You taught us about our past, our present, and our future. You show us exactly where we came from and where we can go. So thank you so much for that, sir. I'm not gonna cry.
If you cry, I'm gonna cry. I don't want to cry.
That's real though. So I mean that.
Appreciate you.
My young friend right here.
Hi, I'm Ada. My question is for all three of you. We know about the Riker maneuver. We know about the Picard maneuver. Is there any quirks that the cast did that you wanted to become maneuvers? Weird things that they were like, you do this every time. When is it going to be the Beverly maneuver, the Crusher maneuver?
Whenever Wesley was in engineering, I felt like this was a kid who grew up there and kind of like really liked being there and felt really comfortable there. And whenever they let him come from the ladders up on the top, I had seen in Hunt for Red October, the submariners would grab the side of the ladder and slide down.
Yes.
So I was like, Wesley does that. I did it, I only got to do it 2 or 3 times. It was the closest to a maneuver that Wesley would ever get to have.
Let me guess. Geordi running onto those doors.
Barrel roll, baby, barrel roll.
My favorite.
Coolant leak. There's a coolant leak.
Coolant leak. Oh, Geordi, saved by the bell. Oh, I knew it.
It's kind of a signature move.
Don't you think that Riker stepping over the chairs is a bit of an asshole move, to be perfectly frank? Is that the kind of person you want to be? The guy who goes into a room and steps over the chair and then steps backward over it to get out of it?
You're very tall though.
I know I'm tall and I know that, but I never thought that I did it as often as that YouTube compilation.
I'm that guy in real life.
You do that move.
I do that move. That's how I sit in chairs, and it's all because of you. I always sit in chairs like that. I always have. And
But
it's
you
all
measure the
because-
chair before you move into it. Make sure you don't.
No, man, I'm going for that chair. And if that chair's too tall, we're just gonna have to deal with it.
That's right, Will. You've got real balls.
And sometimes they're involved in those very tall chairs.
That was the point. This is the voice.
I'm learning so much today.
So I'm here for Levar. My name's Melissa. Sorry. I just saw that your podcast is called Levar Burton Reads, which that's awesome. But you helped kids who were not good readers, who needed help to read, feel like reading was worthwhile and it was a good thing. What is the opportunity that you've had where you realized that what you did was more than just being on a screen, but you made a difference?
Right now, in this now moment.
Perfect.
Love you, Melissa.
Hi. My question's actually for you too, Levar. I've heard you were close friends with Fred Rogers. I'm just wondering if there was any lessons that he taught you that you've tried to implement and pass on. And for the record, can you disappoint a picture?
You cannot disappoint a picture. Physically impossible. I am really lucky and blessed to have been able to call Fred both a mentor and a friend. Fred was, I believe that Fred was a saint. He was a bodhisattva. He was an enlightened being. Fred was the most authentic human being I've ever met, and somebody said that about me today, and it stopped me dead in my tracks. Fred was that kind. He was that patient. He was that present, and I learned an awful lot from that man. We met on the field of service. Fred was a Presbyterian minister. I studied for the priesthood earlier in my life, and it was Fred who really encouraged me to use television as a pulpit, to use it for the good, tell good stories for the good of the people. Yeah, love Fred.
This seems to be a running theme. I also have a question for Levar.
But Johnathan is going to answer it for me.
Okay, good. I'm down with that.
Can't wait to hear this.
Do about the barrel roll.
So, my favorite episode of The Reading Rainbow was when they did Star Trek on it. Was that difficult to do? Were the producers open to it? How did you make that come to pass?
We had a closed set, but Rick Berman, the producer, the executive producer of Star Trek, had earlier in his career, he had a history in children's television. Rick produced a television series back in the day called The Big Blue Marble. And so he knew, a round of applause for The Big Blue Marble and Rick Berman. Rick knew how important Reading Rainbow was to me and made it possible for me to, go shoot whenever we needed to. And it was the first time a production company outside of Paramount and publicity was ever allowed on the Star Trek set. And that was because, Rick understood the mission and was very gracious, very generous, as was the entire cast. When the Reading Rainbow cameras were on set. It continues to be. We had the very visual Rob Legato showing people how to do visual effects, the beaming out with the sparklers in the water and stirred. It's a memorable episode. I've met many people over time who are in the movie business and in special and visual effects specifically because of that episode of Reading Rainbow.
Real quick. We got time for pretty much, this is our last question. I apologize. I appreciate everybody for coming out, but this is going to be our last question. We got to move on to the next panel. So thank you. So here we go.
Hello. So I know Johnathan and I already kind of did it, but being Brent Spiner's here, I was wondering, do all of you have an impression of Sir Patrick Stewart you did around set like Brent? Well, you seem very well.
No!
Well, you seem very well.
Sensing a theme.
Maybe one more question.
We'll take those questions. We'll take another question. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Take us home, my friend. Take us home.
This question is for Johnathan.
I knew it!
Just wanted to know that the Orville has been renewed, will you be directing more episodes?
Now what?
Now that the Orville has been renewed for season 4, will you be directing more episodes?
I won't be directing episodes of the Orville because Seth and John, the DP, do all of the episodes. And they overlap and they board the entire season together, so no one but those two people direct that show and haven't for the last 3 years.
Thank you for your question.
I hate to bum you out.
Any parting words before we leave today?
This has been a wonderful experience and it's a fabulous crowd.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Thank you so much for coming out. Please give another round of applause for our guest, Will Wheaton, Johnathan Frakes, Levar